Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
Also, if you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Daily Compliance News for November 2, 2024, the Shame of It All edition. And we begin with that story from the Jerusalem Post, as the Bank of Israel has enforced sanctions and public shaming to improve compliance. It announced last week the imposition of financial sanctions on several banks and a credit card company under its supervision. In the consumer protection field, it imposed fines against Isracard due to deficiencies found in reporting on enforcement and collection. Additionally, sanctions were imposed on several banks for noncompliance with money laundering prohibition laws and regulations stemming from Know Your Customer. Next up, from the SanDiegoPost, Fat Leonard is scheduled to be sentenced yet again, and he may only get another year in prison. Pretty amazing, since he fled America to escape justice, yet for some reason the DOJ's treating him with kid gloves, and even though he broke his deal and left America, they're going to recommend a sentence of a year for his cooperation. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance, Mingy Sun reporting that Elizabeth Warren has criticized the Department of Justice $3 billion settlement with TD Bank over lax money laundering controls. Elizabeth Warren sent a letter to the DOJ criticizing it for not charging the bank with greater money laundering charges and shifting legal liability from TD Bank, the Toronto parent, to its U.S. holding company, which allowed TD Bank to evade the full scope of potential penalties against it. So, was TD Bank treated too lightly? Well, Elizabeth Warren sure seems to think so. And our final story comes to us from the Financial Times, in a very interesting case where, in a private arbitration, BDO, the accounting firm, was ordered to pay more than $5 million to a former tax advisor of Jay-Z, who said he was unfairly dismissed because it suspected him of aiding celebrity clients in a dispute with the firm over stolen funds. Turns out that was not correct, and a team of arbitrators awarded over $5 million to this individual, but BDO stiffed him and didn't pay the arbitration award. Shame on you, BDO. Well, now he's filed suit in federal district court in Miami to affirm the arbitration award. Arbitration awards are rarely, and let me emphasize, extremely rarely, overturned by courts. So now BDO is going to have to share its public laundry in this proceeding. Not very smart by BDO. As I mentioned at the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up, or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.